Breaking Bridget.
I'll go through this fast.
The world's response to the Omicron variant.
The Bullsh Omicron variant. Congratulations to those of you who have been enlisted to fight your fellow citizens on behalf of Big Pharma. You must be proud. There was a guy today just on Twitter who was like, we need to shut it down because there was one instance of Omicron found in Minnesota. From what they can tell, it's not even like a very serious variation. It's very mild. This is often what happens with viruses, is that you can't kill the host and survive, so they get slightly weaker, like the cold. And then they start spreading more easily, but they're not as deadly because how else are they going to survive? And they made it sound like this was a 7-pronged, horrible thing that was coming out of South Africa, and it was going to shut down the world for Pandemic 2.0. And I'm personally kind of glad that they keep this fear-mongering up, because it's like the boy who cried pandemic too many times that people are like, oh, get fucked. It's like on the bottom list of things that the working class care about pretty much anywhere in the world. The only people who want these lockdowns, I think, are people who are hoping that they can like remake the world in this great reset and shut the whole economy down and have everybody getting paid by their nanny state government to stay home and work their fucking pajama job. But most people want to just get on with their life and see their families and move freely between countries. And the other bullshit thing about this is that there were so many things. They skipped one of the letters or a couple of letters of the alphabet because they didn't want to offend China. Because they skipped right to Omicron from like I don't even know how to say it in Greek. It's very strange. It's like kashi. It's not, it's the XI.
Okay.
So they skipped that because World Health Organization doesn't want to offend Big Daddy China. We all know how they're in bed together, making sweet, sweet love and destroying the rest of the world. And then Biden reinstated a travel ban after saying that travel bans were bad and xenophobic when Trump did it. And then they had Jen Psaki, who's just as terrifying as any other frickin' speaker, come out and carry water for this administration.
The president has not been critical of travel restrictions. What the president was critical of was the way that the former president put out, I believe, a xenophobic tweet.
And say, oh no, he didn't say it was xenophobic when Trump did the travel ban. It was in response to a tweet. No, it wasn't. We can see these things. You can't just gaslight us and say what you saw isn't true. He said that, Biden said that about Trump before he even tweeted what he tweeted about the xenophobic China ban or Chinese flu. I think that's what he was referring to. Then she comes out and says we're trying to protect the American people. From what? From Africans? That seems kind of xenophobic. By the way, it was in Europe before it was even freaking found in South Africa. South Africa was just the first one to find it because they do great research, because they've been doing great research on the AIDS virus for many decades. And then they get punished for being transparent. And now there's a ban on these countries that are suffering. They don't get bailouts. They don't get people coming to their rescue. They don't get $1,200 a month to sit at home. Livelihoods get lost overnight. These countries have suffered so horrifically throughout these lockdowns. And this is just like medical tyranny that affects the poorest people always in every country, but in particular in the developing world. I don't know if we're allowed to say developing world anymore. I'll have to check with our new overlords. It just bothers me because these people who feign morality, like Biden and his administration, and say, oh, this is xenophobia, are the most shameless, hypocritical people I've ever seen. And even when presented with new evidence, like this virus was already in the Netherlands, they don't take off the ban because now it's all political. Mm-hmm. And in the UK, they're like Boris Johnson is like, we need to lock everyone down. And in Germany, they're locking up all the unvaccinated. It's fucking out of control. And people are just fucking over it. Over it.
Yeah.
So I was like raging. I just get so mad. Just being in South Africa a year ago and seeing how much it was affecting it's summer down there. This is their height of their tourist season. And I think flights are now going again, but they're half full. Everybody's scared. You can't leave. If every time there's a new variant, we're going to have to go through this, when there's actually something to be scared about, people aren't going to even believe it.
No.
This goes back to Bill Gates being like, we failed. Well, you continue to fail.
Yeah.
Because instead of shutting down flights and having these fear-mongering, the new variant is coming, and then it ends up being nothing, you should probably find out what it is before you make all these bold proclamations that end up being big nothing burgers.
Yeah.
And that is Breaking Bridget.